Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, live from Indianapolis Motor Speedway at the road course here. Warm-up getting underway. We have just over 10 minutes left in this warm-up session. Still no lap times on the board, but cars are out on track. Let's see if we can locate our current points leader. There's Jimmie Johnson riding behind Daryl Waltrip. Daryl on his out lap, Jimmie on a first hot lap. Jimmie Johnson actually out front in the points right now by 38. Incredible margin this early in the season over Tony Stewart. Most points won so far in a race this season has been 58. So just to put it in perspective, he's more than half a race on the rest of the field. Can he maintain that here at the road course? In our practice race, he was very good, very fast. He actually on a very good strategy call, which, speaking of, we'll see about 14 to 18 laps on a fuel run. And we noticed the longer you stayed out, the better off you would be with track position. Right here is a trouble point, though. Turn 3, turn 4 area. A lot of cars going to push wide in that section. Quickest is Rusty Wallace. Let's check in with him. He's had a bit of a rough season. He's flipped. Not the best finishes lately. Actually, all three of his last 3 races were DNFs. He needs a good run here today for that number 2 Miller Lite, especially for the team standings. Penske really plummeting here lately, now down to 8th in the team points. Rusty, teammate with Joey Logano in the Stock Car Championship Series. See Jeff Gordon now going quickest overall. You know he'll be fast. Take a look back at our road courses so far this season. Bobby Allison started out on pole, and Kyle Larson won at Watkins Glen. A VIR, it was Tony Stewart on pole, then Denny Hamlin came away with the win. So we've had 2 road courses in our first 7 races. But we are about to hit a heavy stretch of road races here, including today. But then we'll take a break for our double points race on Wednesday. It's going to be at the Indy Oval, 500 miles there, or here, I should say. Then Road America and Mid-Ohio, back to back. 3 out of the next 4 going to be left and right turns. Drop back into a better camera shot here for the 24. And as we are riding with him, the winner from Watkins Glen has now moved to the top of the chart. That's Kyle Larson. See if Gordon can go any quicker here, though. Imagine he will with his second lap, but actually slower by 2/10. Yeah, Kyle Larson looking pretty good here. More than halfway through our warm-up session, and then we'll have 4 laps of qualifying, followed by 60 laps here at the road course from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's about 150 miles in distance. Trying to trim down the race distance. This has been a bit long races so far this season. Kyle Larson crossing again. improves down to a 129.558, so now 2/10 quicker than anybody else out on track. Still got quite a few cars that even got a lap down. You see Mark Martin with a bit of a spin. See if we can find out what happened here. It's a pretty simple spin for number 6. Oh, Logano has nowhere to go and runs right through him. Interesting situation there in turn 2. See if we can find maybe some exciting driving here. Oh, there we go. Jimmie Johnson. And your points leader right in the middle of this pack of cars. That's a good gauge of where everyone is at. Passing here is going to be very minimal. You might see mistakes that allow people to get by. Like you see Jimmy fishtailing a bit. Primarily, it's not going to be much passing from what we saw. Let's check the temperature, because that will have an impact. Oh, winds at 11 miles an hour. Pretty warm track at 104 degrees, 77 the ambient. Under 5 minutes to go in the warm-up. Kyle Larson, Jeff Gordon, Denny Hamlin. That is your top 3. Jimmy's actually going to look low, make a little contact even with the 17 of Darrell Waltrip. Can he clear him? He does. Oh, short shooting Rusty gets by Harvick, who tried to make a move at Harvick hits pit lane. Long pit lane here at Indy. That will also be very make or break and telling who's going to win this race. Come down to pits. So, could see a lot of green flag racing here today. "60 laps will go by quick, and the need for cautions are going to be few and far between. Oh, side by side through the chicane. Risky inside now. And the backstretch almost pushes into the left rear of Bubba. Another 31st overall currently at Kenza. I'm sorry, Darrell Waltrip still right behind Jimmy here. Alright, let's see. Waltrip and Rusty. In a heavy braking zone. Tell Jimmy is quicker. Looks like Bubba's going to head off to pit lane. Nope. This opens the door. Interesting passing point here. I think he might be able to get it. 2 minutes left in practice. Heck of a attempt by Johnson. So I mean, the passing is difficult, but this is actually more than what we even saw for the race. Maybe a bit different speed in cars at the moment, but ooh, Jimmy's completely sideways. Opens up a bit of a gap. It's up Bubba. Dale Sheridan and Bobby Allison going side by side. Bobby Allison currently 5th overall. He's been quick this season. Did not have the best of luck last week. However, excuse me. DNF at Chicago ran out of fuel or had some kind of mechanical issue. Kelly Yarbrough's cracked the top 3 now in practice. Looks like Kyle Larson, Jeff Gordon, Kelly Yarbrough, Denny Hamlin, Bobby Allison, all under 1 minute 30. That's your top 5 in warm-up. We'll advance the session in just a moment. Get to 4 laps of qualifying. Most cars will only use 2 or 3 laps, so see how that plays out. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and move here to Kyle Larson, who was quickest in practice. We'll stay with him through his qualifying run as long as he is the quickest. And if anybody does go quicker, we will move over to that car. And Kyle Larson, pretty good on the road courses this season. I think he has a very good shot today. And to try to keep the tires under control in this outlap, but at the same time get them a little bit up to temperature. Just keep the good on them, though. Don't over-accelerate out of corners or too much lateral G's through a corner like that. Larson now on the gas down the back stretch. Taking his time here through these S's. Kyle Larson, also a victim of bad luck lately. He's 2 DNFs in a row. Missing out on a finish at Chicago. I'm trying to recall what happened, but nonetheless, dropping down to 11th now in the point standings. Here goes the number 5 battling Hendrick Motorsports car, Chevy Camaro, into turn 1. Navigates the first 2 corners pretty well. Nice and narrow on exit to get the entrance and exit of the chicanes huge. We saw Jimmie Johnson, how much time he lost just by going wide on that long right-hander. Just keeping the car under control will save you 2 or 3 tenths. Fishtailing. Take time off your lap and then time off your next lap as well as you lose valuable grip from those tires. So first lap about to be in the books. Here comes Kyle Larson, final corner. Onto the front straightaway. Where does he fit in on lap 1? So currently in the top 10. It's like 5th overall, but first is going to be your points leader. No surprise, it's Jimmie Johnson. currently at a 1 minute 30.344. We had 5 cars under a minute 30 in practice. Ooh, bit sideways for Jimmie, but he makes it work. Cale Yarborough and Richard Petty, second and third, then Kyle Busch in fourth. Everybody got a first lap in, no incidents. But 3.5 seconds separating Jimmie Johnson from Jeff Burton in 40th. Jimmie giving it all he's got there on exit. Probably going to get 2 shots at it. This is going to be the last one. Get that safe lap in first. Can you break a 129.7? I think that's what you're going to need for pole. Jimmie on exit now to the front straightaway. Crossing the line. Jimmie to a 130.320, so not much of an improvement. Meanwhile, one car gets under a minute 30, and that's going to be Tony Stewart. 129.986. Is that going to be it? I don't know that anybody can go quicker. And if anybody finishes the lap, I mean, a lot of people will probably hit pit lane here. As long as they don't have the speed. So Tony Stewart, I would call it a surprise, but it really isn't. He's second in points and has been extremely consistent over the last 4 races. Winner of the inaugural race, the first race of the season at New Hampshire, or sorry, Michigan. He was also the pole sitter at VIR. So maybe it shouldn't be any surprise at all. Smoke is out front here. Does anybody go faster? I don't know that it is possible, but... Oh, look at that! We do have a few. Tony does not, 130.2, but look at that. We got 4 cars now, under a minute 30. And now first place is Kyle Busch. He steals it on lap 3. Oh my. Only a few cars stayed out for this last lap. Stewart barely gets beat out. Kyle Busch at a 129.758. Richard Petty, 0.178 back at a 129.936. Tony Stewart at a 0.986. And Bobby Allison, 0.998. Kyle Larson rounds out your top 5, a quarter of a second behind your pole sitter, Kyle Busch. Richard Petty still trying to rebound from the bad luck early on in the season. Well, this is going to help that cause tremendously. Petty 14th in points. He's had good runs, but then just some bad luck towards the end of the race. Seeing if anybody try to complete that 4th lap. No, that is it. So Kyle Busch on pole here at Indianapolis. There he is, the number 18 M&M's Toyota Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing. Teammate with Denny Hamlin. Team currently, they are second in points, so having a great season there. Kyle Busch on pole here at Indianapolis. Go ahead and advance to the race now. We'll have 60 laps coming up. as the cars load in. Once they do, we will go through the field and see where your favorite drivers are starting. We'll also just take a quick look at the starting lineup digitally. Again, your top 5: Kyle Busch, Richard Petty, Tony Stewart, Bobby Allison, Kyle Larson. And you got Jeff Gordon, Joey Logano, Cale Yarborough, points leader Jimmie Johnson, and Dale Earnhardt Sr., your top 10. Scroll through the rest, see if anybody maybe starting further back than anticipated. Dale Jarrett's a bit further back, I think. Maybe he'd hope. But everything pretty standard, it seems, throughout the field. Bobby Labonte maybe a little further back. Let's take a look from our nose camera. The makeshift drone camera we have. Hear the announcers, the atmosphere here in the background at Indy. Wind blowing atop the pylon. You can see there the windsock. There is your front row, Kyle Busch and Richard Petty. Followed right behind, there's Tony Stewart and Bobby Allison. Breeze won't have much of an effect here at the road course. Track's a bit hot, so we could see additional tire wear. Kwiatkowski has had a great season. Hamlin actually maybe a bit further back than he would like to be. Sunk about front third of the field. Mark Martin, we saw him go around in practice. Got the Yates cars here with Davey Allison and Dale Jarrett. They should be moving to the front as Brad Keselowski, last week's winner, looking to move up through the field. Carl Edwards, a bit of bad luck lately. Hopefully he can get that turnaround. Road course can be very kind to some of these back markers, pending how these pit strategies play out on the last row. Here we go. Ernie Irvan and Ricky Rudd rounding out your 40-car field in the Stock Car Championship Series. Getting ready to go green here at Indianapolis on the road course. Pace car gets the good to go, so they will be rolling momentarily. Across the yard of bricks. How will it play out today? Can Jimmie Johnson maintain his points lead? Kyle Busch on pole, 4th in the championship. Tony Stewart, who's 2nd in points right there, starting on the 2nd row. Jimmy's going to have to be on point. This is going to be the trouble spot for the first lap, maybe the 2nd lap, and possibly the 3rd lap. Cars are going to go wide here. May see a huge mess on lap 1. Now, if it's bad enough, we may be forced to bring out a caution, but hopefully that's not the case. See, the lights are out, so we will be going green flag. This time by 150 miles at the road course from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Cars lined up perfectly, as the AI should. See, Kenny Schrader's a little out of line there in the back, but it's only right. That would be the case. Repeat winners yet on the season. And Kyle Busch and Richard Petty both looking for their first wins. Can either of them potentially make it 8 for 8 here in the Stock Car Championship Series inaugural season? Or will we see our first repeat winner? Tony Stewart right there. Bobby Allison also searching for his first win. Pace car pulls off. We'll get the green flag here in just a moment. Oh, pulling away already. Kyle Busch gets a jump. Huge jump for Kyle. Timed it. There's no restart zone here at Indianapolis. He wanted to get away quick, and indeed he did. Petty left fighting for a second with Tony Stewart. This is going to open up the gaps into turn 1, which is good news for everybody, I believe. I'll go ahead, keep an eye if we can. Feel like a couple cars are going to be. This is going to be the spot, like I mentioned. Say here. Oh, there goes Gordon. Looks like maybe we had to spin further back. Logano's around. He can't get going, and that's going to hold up Harvick. Oh, wow. Martin's there. Back to the front. Kyle Busch. Richard Petty, Tony Stewart. That's your top 3. Gano's able to get going. I think Jeff Gordon's moving. Is that Denny Hamlin as well? Yeah, Denny Hamlin. Logano, Gordon. All in trouble. At the front, it's Kyle Busch and Richard Petty moves the tail. Everyone's stacked up in the top 5. What a first lap here. Did not need to bring out the caution though. Everything was pretty clear. Just had another incident. It looks like, yeah, Quint Boyer, he's off track. When we get a moment, we will go back to the start and see exactly what happened. We got a few cars that had to get towed off the surface. Yeah, Martin wasn't able to keep going. Neither was Greg Biffle. Still very early in this race, so those guys that had an incident definitely not out of it by any means. Take a look here. Cars make their way through the S's. Gaps starting to form. Kevin Harvick back here with Ernie Irving and Ricky Rudd trying to gain some spots back. Gordon's closing back in on the rest of the field. There's Logano and Denny Hamlin. Back to the front again. Kyle has a quick car, quickest lap of the race now, 130.692. Stewart with a 130.754. Pretty good lap himself. Through the chicane as quick as he can. See if Stewart now can maybe close in on Richard Petty and make a move for second. Petty able to hold off Stewart despite the jump that everyone got on him. The whole field was kind of left standing still there for a moment. I don't know that Martin and Biffle have been towed back yet. And I believe they're actually even teammates, unfortunately. Busch Classic team. Bad day for that team. First lap, both cars out before they even make it to turn 5. There's the lead again. Lap 4 now underway. Richard Petty with a pretty good lap, hanging with Kyle Busch a bit better. As Kyle's not taking the defensive line, it's going to hurt his tires doing that. Doesn't really need to be pushing. And Tony Stewart goes wide. It's going to allow Bobby Allison to make a move for 3rd. Bobby Allison. Nice pass, being aware to jump in the opportunity. I said at the beginning during warm-ups that passing here is not going to be easy. The only way to do it is going to be with mistakes or severe tire foiling, so another car really overdriving their car. And see it on lap 4. We saw the mistake, and Bobby Allison was able to pounce. It's like the top 8 now pulling away. It's Kyle Busch, Richard Petty, Bobby Allison, Tony Stewart, Kyle Larson, Cale Yarborough, Jimmie Johnson, and Dale Earnhardt trying to hold on the best he can to 7th there. Tony Stewart a bit wide again. So maybe starting to see a bit of handling issues on that Home Depot Toyota Camry. Kyle Larson almost gets into Stewart. Not sure if he had to check up or overshot the corner. Cale Yarborough now with a huge run. Might be able to make the pass into this hard braking. Cale's there on the outside. You'll have the line into the next corner. Cale's going to get it for 5th. Nice pass. Ooh, very sideways though. Smoking the tires there on exit. So seeing Kyle Larson and Tony Stewart both make a mistake and lose a spot. Simple as that. This will be lap 5 now. In the books, Ernie Irvan. Looks like he may have had an issue. He's a bit further back from the field now. A little off pace, maybe. Understand that Biffle and Mark Martin are back out, only a lap down, so that's good news. I thought they were still not even back to their pit box. Bobby Allison slowly closing in on Richard Petty, and Tony Stewart staying right on Bobby's rear spoiler. Sure, very frustrated about giving away the spot, and gladly move up if he can, return the favor to that Miller Lite machine. Or High Life machine, I should say. Miller Lite just a few spots back in Rusty Wallace, who we mentioned earlier. He's had a bit of a rough season and 3 straight DNFs in the top 10. Knock on wood, no announcer's curse here. Hopefully he can keep it together though and get himself a good finish. He needs it. about halfway or so through our first fuel stint. Like I mentioned, 14 to 18 laps is what we should see. Could see some comers and goers at this point of the run as well. Anybody used up their equipment too early could start falling back. Richard now holding on to second pretty easily. Not much of a challenge coming from third place anymore. It's like the best battle might even be here for fifth, with Kyle Larson trying to move on Cale Yarbrough. Larson feeling the pressure from points leader Jimmie Johnson. It's fifth, sixth, seventh, and Dale Earnhardt right in the background there, running eighth. Schrader may have actually been on pit lane. Yeah, he was had an issue. See if we can go back to lap one here real quick. Well, unfortunately, unable to see any type of incidents here with so Hamlin's around there. There goes Biffle. And there's Logano and Gordon. Martin. But yeah, with unfortunately, this track does not allow you to skip to find the incidents. So you just have to catch them when they happen live. No pressure. Really looking for a way around Cale Yarbrough here. Made the mistake and allowed Cale by. I thought he might pull away and close in on the battle for the lead, but Larson has really just been hung up behind Yarbrough, if anything. As the whole field will come by and see where the driver's currently running. There's a big gap here to Martin Truex, who's running all by himself. There's the Robert Yates cars. Quite a bit. Jeff Gordon. Getting back through this slower traffic. Larson must have had a bit of an issue in this lap, as he seems to have lost touch with Yarbrough a bit. See Ken Schrader up ahead now. Lap traffic could potentially play a role here early in the race. Much earlier, I think, than anyone anticipated. But Schrader should be able to get out of the way. Not be much of a problem. . Richard Petty for a moment. So we close in on the lap traffic. Just see, go around for a lap here with the King at the Brickyard road course style. Trying to track down the leader, Kyle Busch, leading from pole. He's led all 10 laps so far. Ken Schrader had some sort of issue that has mired him down a few laps, about to be his second lap. Ooh, bad corner for Richard Petty. He lost a lot of time. Defensive approach to turn 1, holding up Bobby Allison behind him. At the same time, Ken Schrader is holding up Kyle Busch, so the mistake that Petty made is not turned to be as devastating as it may have been otherwise. See if Kyle makes a move here on the back straightaway. Does not. And Schrader doesn't seem to be moving over. His fresher tires now, and he is fighting to say, or lucky dog, but there he goes, the second lap down. Didn't take long, I guess. To hit lap 12 this time by. Gap is 1 second between first and second. Point 2 back to third. Bobby Allison all over Richard Petty. And you see Schrader just pulls over to the side down the straightaway. Nicely done. Makes it easy for the leaders. Top 4 now clear of Schrader. I think Denny Hamlin may have had another issue. So we can find out what happened to the FedEx car. Yes, he did. Did he get help? Looks like maybe from Jeff Burton. Ooh, right there in turn 2. That is crushing. Not a good day for Denny Hamlin. He is 12th in points. To mention a winner at VIR. Not going his way today. Second, third, and fourth, pretty close here. Gap to Denny Hamlin is about 20 seconds. So you know that's what Denny's crew chief is telling him. Just mind that gap. Stay on the lead lap. Coming up on a quarter way through this race already. It just flies by here. Especially with the shortened distances. But we will still have longer races throughout the season, including next week. On Wednesday will be our next broadcast. Will be 500 miles from here at Indianapolis on the oval. It'll be double points, part of our Twin Checker Challenge, the first of our 4 races that will be worth double points. The other 3 being Le Mans and Daytona Road Course, as well as our finale, which will be either at Auto Club Speedway or Homestead Miami. Still getting that ironed out, but with the races at Le Mans and Daytona Road Course, just gonna go to our schedule real quick here. Daytona, okay, Le Mans is the second race on the Twin Checker Challenge. That is going to be a 4-hour race from Le Mans, and Daytona Road Course is a 6-hour endurance race. Taking point at the quarter points of the season. So race 9, 18, 27, and 36. The final race, again, being either Homestead or Auto Club. We want to test out which track really works best. Gaps opening up a bit before pit stops. Earnhardt losing touch a little bit with Jimmie Johnson. And I believe we actually have a few cars on pit lane. Bobby Labonte and Brad Keselowski. Ooh, really getting sideways there, it looked like. Do have a few cars trying to work pit strategy early on. I want to see something here. How far? We're at 21 minutes. Right at a quarter length, so pretty good timing so far. Jimmie Johnson pretty sideways on the exit at 2. See pit stops any lap now. We are in the window. Back to your leader. We'll stay with Kyle Busch. See if he does make that stop. Gap first to fourth now, 3.1 seconds. Kyle Busch has led every lap so far. Richard Petty 1.4 seconds back at the moment. Hasn't let him get too far away, but any more than this could be troublesome. Now, Kyle Busch is on pit lane. Richard stays out. So does Bobby Allison and Tony Stewart. Go to this camera here. Cale Yarborough pitting. There's Earnhardt Sr. by. Bill Elliott down pit lane. Those Yates cars really moving through the field. They're staying out. Not many cars in the back of the field are pitting. Carl Edwards out of the pit lane right here with Lewis. And at this point, it could backfire Richard Petty. You don't want to have any of these lap cars exiting right out in front of you and slowing down your in lap. You see that happening here with Bobby Allison. That very thing is taking place. Gap now 2 seconds to Richard Petty. Bobby Allison shoots the inside. Tony Stewart hits pit lane. So does Kyle Larson and Jimmie Johnson. Dale Earnhardt. Rusty and Matt Kenseth stay out. So, Richard Petty, Bobby Allison, 2 leaders, keeping it on track. Bobby Allison maybe wants to get that gap back down before he pits and doesn't want to be thrown back out into the middle of the battle for 4th through 6th. And he's thinking I can maybe get out of here in 2nd or so. Here's Tony Stewart. He's coming down. Kyle Busch exiting the final corner. You see Gordon hitting pit lane. He's had his problems. Here it is, the race out the line. Wow, Kyle destroyed Tony Stewart. Not even close. Now here's Richard Petty back at the front. Got Bobby Allison right behind him. By 1.9 now the gap. Richard's in here, as is Bobby Allison. We know Richard should come out in first. Well, Kyle and then Richard, but who's going to be in 3rd? I think that's the mystery right now. Let's go back to Tony Stewart temporarily. He's got Larson, Jimmie Johnson, and you see Harry Gant as a buffer still to pit. And Cale Yarborough. Stewart's got a great outlap going here. He's 4 seconds off Kyle Busch, but he might be able to push Richard Petty for 2nd. Cale sending Gant wide. Tony Stewart off the final corner. See Richard exiting up ahead. I think he's got 2nd. Bobby Allison's right here. Bobby Allison, huge advancements on that pit stop. What a pit sequence for the Miller High Life team. Right now, Dale Jr. actually leading, hasn't pit yet. But Kyle Busch, Richard Petty, Bobby Allison, that will be our top 3 right in the next lap or so. Seeing if maybe Tony Stewart could track down Bobby Allison on the colder tires, but it's not happening. And the gap between Richard Petty and Kyle Busch is 1.2 seconds. Seems David Pearson must have had an issue because he's back in 37th now. Barely holding on to the lead lap. Dale Jr. has just pit, so that leaves the lead back over to Kyle Busch. We're on lap 19. About to be lap 20 next time by, which is the 1/3 point of the race. Still no cautions here at the Indianapolis road course. Busch just having a day right now. 1.7, 1.9 now the gap to Richard Petty, and then got another gap back to Bobby Allison and Tony Stewart. Well, very spread out here in the top 5. We gotta go back to 5th to really see the first real battle on track, and that's Jimmie Johnson closing in on Kyle Larson. Cale Yarborough is there as well. Kyle Busch pit the earliest, lap 16. bit earlier than what we saw during a bit later than what we saw during our practice races. We saw 14 to 18 laps, so it's surprising. But tire wear just could have been a little different with the weather we have today. Essentially, though, that makes this a 3-stop race. They do not have to worry about that 4th stop. Tony Stewart trying to get back to Bobby Allison for 3rd, get on that podium. Kyle Busch and Richard Petty still to win this year. Looking for their first on the season, their first Stock Car Championship Series win. Will it come here today on the road course at Indy? Very dominant so far is the number 18. Richard Petty, clearly the 2nd quickest, but just wishes Kyle Busch wasn't in this race at the moment. Seconds. We might see Richard close in a bit as Kyle's tires will fall off sooner. In fact, I think we're seeing it right now. Richard's going quicker. 131.2, 131.1. Not a lot, but it's enough that Richard will get there. 40 laps remain in this race. Jeff Gordon's up here. He must have had another problem. Oh man. When it rains, it pours here. Gap remains at 1.5 from 1st to 2nd. It's only a matter of time before Richard gets that first win. I don't know if it's going to come today, just barring how quick Kyle Busch is. Even with a 2-lap advantage, I'm not seeing the closing rate that Richard might need. It's back up now to 2 seconds here on that last lap. Not what he needs to catch him right now. There's quite a bit of lap traffic up ahead that could work into his advantage somewhat. But Richard Petty needs all the help he can get if he wants to get by or even catch up to Kyle Busch. Three seconds up ahead to David Pearson. Let's take a look at the field real quick. Let's see where everyone started. It's currently running top 5. All started in the top 5, and they are in the top 5. Jimmie Johnson started 9th and is in 6th. Alan Hart Sr. 10th to 7th. Kelly Arborough started 8th and is in 8th. Rusty Wallace started 11th up to 9th. And Matt Kenseth up 3 spots from 13th into 10th. Kowicki has gained 5. Let's see, Martin Truex up 7. Kozlowski up 11 spots, so good day for him. See, Joey Logano has lost 12 in his off-road excursion. Bobby Labonte is up 10. Good day for him. And a few cars at the back. You see Ricky Rudd up 10 from the shotgun on the field. Gordon started 6, all the way back in 34th. Really unfortunate run. Pearson 14th to 36th. Got 4 cars lap down. Quinn Boyer, Greg Biffle, Mark Martin, and Kenny Schrader. That's your 40th place car at the moment. Now closed in on the lap traffic. Ernie Irvan right in front of the leader. We're on lap 24, crossing the yard of bricks as we speak. Gap back to Richard Petty, currently just about 1 to 1.5 seconds, depending on the braking zone. Let's see how helpful the lap traffic is. Will they put up a fight? And they have every right to be there and hold their lap. But what happens? Oh, Irvin allows Kyle Busch by, but not maybe the best spot. As Richard Petty now has a huge run down this back straightaway and is looking for the lead. Just like that. Richard, side by side, they hit door handle. Kyle's going to stay there into the next set of quarters. Still side by side for the lead. And 1 lap car is all it took for Richard Petty to take the lead on lap 24. Just let Kyle Busch by right before the chicane, which threw off Busch's line and he had to lift. Richard, meanwhile, was full throttle. Bounced the door off of the M&M's Camry and takes the lead. Big lap there for the 43. Can he capitalize? Bobby Allison in the background. He is clear of Ernie Irvan. Now the leaders focus back on David Pearson and Ken Schrader up ahead. Pit stops are not far off either. In the next 10 laps, so to consider. Pearson's around Ken Schrader. And Bobby Allison's now got the gap down to 1.5 seconds. Less than that now as they make their way through these S's. Richard Petty might be able to make a move here. Sooner the better, just considering how much time is lost. Top 4 now all in the same frame. Stewart's got it down to 3.5 to the lead. There goes Richard to the outside. Gets really out of shape. Should give Kyle Busch a big run. Kenny Schrader's going to open up the outside. Kyle Busch, what's he going to do? Kyle Busch gets sideways. Contact with Bobby Allison, they spin. Lap traffic causing a spin with Bobby Allison and Kyle Busch. Big moment in the race there. Wow. advances Tony Stewart up to second. And Richard Petty says so long. That was a big moment there. See Kyle Busch, Bobby Allison, 6th and 7th, so they've been able to get things back together, at least for the time being. And here comes Richard Petty. I'm a bit surprised by this move. Petty, he pit on lap 18. I'm not sure if there's an issue or... Leader on pit road. Excuse me. So, that hands it over to Tony Stewart here on lap 27. Now has Ken Schrader in his sights. Schrader's got to be thinking, how many leaders am I going to get past or have to repass? They're everywhere. Tony Stewart, just be careful here. Do not risk it. Gets around Ken Schrader at a much more appropriate part of the track. We understand we have debris on track. We have fluid as well as carbon fiber through the S's here where Tony Stewart's approaching. Looks like from Bobby Allison's car. We've got a few cars that took to pit lane, like Richard Petty. He's out in 13th. Dale Earnhardt Sr. also pit. This is going to be really something to look at once we get cars lined back up, where everybody runs. Where these pit strategies are really all falling out or into place. Stewart closing in on the pace car, the Porsche pace car. This saves many cars from going a lap down. David Pearson was 33rd, and then you had Denny Hamlin right there 32nd. You know, Jeff Gordon was in that mix. Chase Elliott, yeah, he was there. He's in 30th. So a lot of those guys getting a second chance at life here in the road course race from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. They're just about at the halfway point. Lap 28 currently. Interesting to see who decides to take their car down pit lane. Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt Sr., Cale Yarborough are a few of the cars that have already pit. So yeah, Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt Sr., Cale Yarborough. 3 cars have pit. But well early of their actual pit window. So the benefit isn't really there to pit this early. We'll see what these top 15 cars do. Ken Schrader is a lap or 2 laps down there, in second in line. Give Tony Stewart a bit of a buffer if he does decide to hit the access road. So Ken Schrader, he's going to make his way to any of the other lead cars. Gray Biffle. I'm not sure if Biffle's a lap down anymore. Oh, there's Davey Allison and Kevin Harvick. I think Dale Jarrett stayed out, so they're splitting the strategy on the Yates cars. Jeff Burton's coming, so is Ricky Rudd. All these cars in the back, they're hitting pit lane. Why not? Get a free stop here. Excuse me. So back to the front of the field, here we are. See, Ernie Irvin, he's going to be the lucky dog. He'll get around Tony Stewart and the pace car. Which means now that Stewart and many of these cars did not pit, they'll be in the next 5 laps or so. This throws strategies completely on their head. And this is anyone's race. We were looking at, Kyle Busch running away with us for 1 second. We hit 1 lap car. Richard Petty takes the lead. Incident with Kyle Busch and Bobby Allison. And Richard Petty pits early, along with Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Cale Yarborough, giving the lead now to Tony Stewart, who's second in points. See, first in points is right there in third place. But Tony Stewart now leading this race and controlling his strategy. I don't know if you could be in a much better spot if you're Stewart, because you still have a lot of cars between yourself and Richard Petty. We'll see how it all plays out here. Right at about halfway of this race. We might get the one to go this time by. And if we get 30 more laps like we did here in the first half of this race, we are in for a barn burner, especially now that we have cars on all sorts of different pit strategies. What's going to happen on the restart? We've seen how turn 3 and 4 can be. Cars being sent out there. We had Gordon, Logano, Hamlin, Biffle, Mark Martin, all a part of that lap 1 incident. The leaders hoping to avoid that sort of calamity on the restart. Cars spread out and take to their positions. Jimmie Johnson, for some reason, leaving a bit of a gap there currently. But that will close up once they get the restart. On the initial start, we saw how much of a jump Kyle Busch got on the outside. So there's no restart zone here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So as soon as the pace car is in, it's really up to the leader when he can go. And see what kind of jump Stewart may be able to get here on the restart. We'll be on lap 31 with 30 laps to go, right at the halfway point. We'll be going back great. Of fast cars at the front, some emerging cars as well, like Martin Truex Jr. having a great run. Up to 10th now. Look at that. Dale Jarrett, he's been able to move up. Carl Edwards, Bobby Labonte. These guys are on all their tires. Then we got 18th place Richard Petty. That's where it all begins. Cale Yarbrough, Earnhardt Sr. Those guys. Can they do it on one more stop? They might be able to. Tony Stewart leading the field around the final few corners. And we get back to green flag racing. The first car we may see in it might be Kyle Busch. He stopped first out of all the front cars on lap 16. Most everyone else was lap 17. Hopefully we don't have anyone run out of fuel either. Actually about to go back here. Pace car is off. Tony Stewart hits the gas. He's got a good jump on Kyle Larson. Larson's got Jimmie Johnson to his inside. Down the front stretch, here we go. Bobby Labonte looking 3 wide on Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Dale Jarrett. Looks like he's going to make that work. Larson up to second. Yes, he is. Rusty Wallace gets into Bobby Allison. Looks like Brad Keselowski was very sideways. I think we might see Earnhardt going off. There he goes. Bobby Labonte as well. He's spinning. Great run for Bobby. Out the window. There goes Greg Biffle. See anyone else off track at the moment. Catch the field diving into this hard braking corner. A lot of side-by-side there. Richard Petty, Cale Yarbrough side-by-side, looking to get by. Brad Keselowski, it appeared. There's your top 6 or 7 pulling away from Rusty Wallace. You see Logano, Cale Yarbrough, Richard Petty, Earnhardt. Those guys really hoping their strategy pans out. We'll stay on this camera just to see. There's Bobby and Biffle. And Earnhardt Jr., last car currently running on track. Not in the running order, but just track position wise. Excuse me. Keep hitting the wrong camera there. Now you see Stewart's got about 0.5 on Larson. Larson just not quite able to hold touch with the Home Depot Chevy. He's at this point in the run. Stewart, fastest lap of the race, 1:30.394. Even quicker than Kyle Busch's earlier lap times. That is impressive. And let's see, Logano looks like he's up to 11. Yarbrough up to 14. And I think Richard Petty may have had a problem. Oh, we had a big incident down here. Gets into the back of Petty, and Dale Jarrett gets into Keselowski. Look at this stack up. Most everybody gets around. That's incredible. So Richard Petty now finds himself in a ton of trouble. Is this Logano down pit lane? Appears to be so. Back up front to Tony Stewart, Kyle Larson, Jimmie Johnson, Kyle Busch, Bobby Allison. That's your top 5. Then you go about a second and a half back by Matt Kenseth. Another second and a half to Rusty Wallace. Kyle Petty, Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski, they're on pit lane right now. Keselowski might have damage. Richard Petty's now completely off strategy. No need for a caution yet. Everything seemed to be off the track regarding any debris. Here comes Tony Stewart, Kyle Larson, Jimmie Johnson, Kyle Busch. Top 5 all coming in on lap 33. I think we got the whole field coming in, honestly. Cale Yarborough, Dale Sr., the first cars not to pit, and this says everybody that pit on the last yellow. All staying out. Look how it pays out for them. Let's see. This will be an interesting race off pit road. Cale Yarborough is now your leader, so keep an eye on that. By 0.7 over Dale Earnhardt Sr., and they last pit on lap 27, so they are in the clear by a decent margin. Stewart's going to get off first over Larson and Jimmie Johnson. They exit the way they entered, but top 3 might have a bit more of a gap, if anything. We've got a slow stop for Dale Jarrett in the background. See Ricky Rudd exiting out with these leaders. Whoa, and Larson might lose some time here. Get by Rudd, who's now mixed in with this group of cars. Matt Kenseth had a good stop. He's right back in this battle. Last pit on lap 29. It's not like he is very off sequence. He's very much in this race even. Very interesting at this part of the field. This is for 15th correct. Now, go to Cale Yarborough, who's your leader over Dale Earnhardt. These guys pit just before the caution. And now, have a lead of about 5 seconds over Kevin Harvick. And just pulling away at the moment. Each of these drivers also looking for their first win on the season. Harry Gant is currently running 4th, believe it or not. We have 31 cars on the lead lap. Keselowski's up the track by about 10 to 15 seconds. Mark Martin, the first car a lap down. We have 4 cars 1 lap down. Then we go back to Davey Allison, Ken Schrader, Clint Boyer, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Greg Biffle, all more than 1 lap down. Pressure fading a bit on the battle here for the lead. It's like Earnhardt's settling in a bit. Not pushing the battle too much. You know, so there's plenty of time in this race. We are past the halfway point, but still have at least one more stop to make. Let's see if these guys make it 18 laps. I put them at 45, so that's 10 laps off. And they just need to go 15 from there. They can easily do this on the downforce time. And I think potentially looking at our winners of this race, if we don't have any more cautions, I just don't see how this strategy can be outmatched. And you look how far back Kyle Busch is. Larson, Tony Stewart, he's at 14. 27 seconds off the lead. Bobby Allison and Kyle Busch yet again side by side. These guys have already had an incident earlier today. Second place at the time, and Kyle Busch not gonna let Bobby Allison get by that easy. So, 1 second here. We're on time here in the race, just at the 1 hour mark actually. Seems we have a crash. Jeff Gordon's around. I think we had another crash there too. So Gordon and Hamlin make contact. And those guys keep us going somehow. I thought they were around for sure. Now here's first and second again. Still going at it. Gordon is a terrible race. He had to tow back to the pits. Oh man. That's going to be about it for his day. He's not going to be able to make any more spots from that far back. Rusty Wallace, is he out of gas? No. Lap 34. Some sort of engine issue, perhaps. Rusty Wallace now out, getting towed back. Battle for the lead. All the while, this is continuing. All the drama on track. Cale Yarbrough currently running 9th in points. Dale Earnhardt, 2 back-to-back DNFs, has dropped him back to 19th in points. So you know how desperate these guys are for a win. Cale, winless on the year, could definitely boost him up into the top 6 at least, I think, if the win. Probably even up to 4th, honestly. They're all separated by 15 points from 4th to 9th. Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon currently getting towed back to pit lane. See how far back they fall through the standings once they are able to get back on track. 7 seconds now, back to 3rd place, Kevin Harvick. Tony Stewart's up to 12th. We got Kyle Larson, Jimmie Johnson, Kyle Busch, Bobby Allison as the 5 cars in that group, 12th through 16th. Those are the 2 strategies that we are monitoring. Who's going to come out on top? I honestly think they're just way too far back. They're just now entering turn 1 and 2. You guys are past the back straightaway already. See Cale continue to pull away. Sun's starting to hit the buildings in downtown Indianapolis. Is getting a little later in the day, mid-afternoon. We got a 2 o'clock start time, so just past 3 p.m. now. Battle for the lead continues on. See if we still got Tony Stewart as the fastest car on track. Actually, Jimmie Johnson out of 130.284. Let's get around Kyle Petty as we speak. It's your points leader here, 13. Kyle Petty in 33rd. Lap down, gets out of the way. Allows Jimmy to move by cleanly. Very close though. I've seen incidents just like that throughout much of this day, and it's happened in turn 1. It's a little contact on that rear bumper, so I need to send that car into a flurry. About 2.3 seconds now up ahead to Tony Stewart. I don't know where Kyle Larson is, so let's see if we can find him. Yep, something happened to Larson. Just got wide. And now well off the leaders. Of this strategy. He was right there with him, a second ago. See Clint Boyer having a terrible time navigating some faster cars. To the lead again, Kelly Yarbrough and Dale Earnhardt down the back straightaway. Still about a half-second gap. Neil Bonnet up ahead by 3.5 seconds and 28. He'd be the next car to go a lap down if he can manage to hold on, though. That would then leave. I'm not sure that was the first car lap down. We'll find out in a second. Denny Hamlin is currently 5th. Considering everything that's happened to him in this race, that's absolutely shocking. $20 laps to go, will be 19 at the line. Kelly Yarbrough looking to get his first win, as is Dale Earnhardt Sr. So, who's going to be the one? Get it done. First car a lap down would be 28th place, Terry Labonte. Looks like Jeff Burton and Ken Schrader had to get towed back. Let's see if we can find Jeff Burton here. Coming up into that. Oh, just gets the bumper and goes around and can never re-enter the track. There's Ken Schrader. Just got loose and nowhere to go. That's how simple it is to lose spots here. Or just even lose your race entirely. One little mistake and you can't rejoin the track. You're either out or you're like Kyle Larson, who loses 10 plus positions. Terry Labonte, Mark Martin, they are competing to be a lucky dog. And there you go, Cale Yarborough and Earnhardt Sr. get around Bonnet and make that a moot point. Neil Bonnet now, first car a lap down. We're a lap 43. Speaking of 43, let's see if we can track down the king. Oh, he's up to 6th. Unbelievable. I thought his race was over. Like, I can't believe he's even still competing here for a potential top 5. It's only 9 seconds off of Kevin Harvick and can easily pass both Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin. He has the speed to get it done. Pit stops could be any lap now. Probably in the next 2 or 3 laps if I were to put a bet on that. Oh, we have one of our leaders down pit lane. That's Dale Earnhardt Sr. He made the jump. Maybe he can gain some time here on Cale Yarborough. Being that he's pitting alone. See how it plays out for the 3 team. Earnhardt hits his box. And Richard was really trying to send it there in turn 1 on Hamlin. Just could not quite get alongside. I'm interested to see here where Earnhardt blends back out. It's his hope that he doesn't have any traffic around him. It looks like he might nail that perfectly. Kyle Petty gets by, and I don't think Kawicki and Waltrip will catch him at all. So this is really working out to Earnhardt's advantage. Clean exit there. Here's Cale Yarborough, lap 44. What does he do? Does he answer? No. He's staying out. Comes Harvick. He pit 2 laps after Cale Yarborough. Don't imagine we'll see him coming down. Coming into this battle here. Now for 3rd. Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, and then Richard Petty, who pit a bit earlier. We might see Richard, but he's staying out. And you got Tony Stewart. He's looking for a way around David Pearson. He's got Jimmie Johnson in his rearview mirrors, with Kyle Busch closing in as well. Back to the front. Cale Yarborough all by himself by 10 seconds now over Kevin Harvick. Three-quarters of the way through this race on lap 45 here. How will this all play out? $15 to go at the line. When he gets to the line, will it be from the racing surface or from pit lane? And it looks like it's pit lane. Big moment here for the 28 team. See where he blends out with Earnhardt in a moment. It's Harvick. Yeah, he does stay out. He's got plenty of life in his tires. It's like Richard Petty was able to get by Denny Hamlin, though, so that's a big move. Now Petty ducks out of line. Let's go catch up with Earnhardt. He's getting all on his own here. Still 2 seconds off Kyle Petty up ahead. Cale Yarbrough's in his box. And now moving, and I think well clear of Earnhardt. Oh my, by a significant margin. Something happened on Earnhardt's pit. It took longer or had damage, but look at Cale Yarbrough exiting in front of Logano and Kenseth and gets out in 10th. What a move. Those guys are hitting each other. Damage to Logano's side. Kenseth trying to get by Yarbrough down the straightaway, but I think Cale's pulling away. And that's going to be Cale's last stop of the race. All 40 cars out on track at the moment. And now Kevin Harvick's pitting. We've Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, they're staying out. What a bad stop for Dale Earnhardt. Cannot believe it, I'm sure. Like 4 seconds now, 4.5 to Cale Yarbrough. How did it go so wrong? He's got to think he could be in trouble of losing spots to Tony Stewart, Jimmie Johnson when they pit. Hamlin in second now. You got Tony Stewart up to 4th with Jimmie Johnson, Kyle Busch in his rearview mirror. Bubba Wallace, a bit of a buffer, keeping Bobby Allison at bay for the time being. These guys last pit at lap 34, so they're less than 5 laps from their stop. Again, that would be their last stop of the race. Very tense here at the front of the field, and we got Chase and Hamlin. They're down pit lane, so that will hand the lead over to Stewart and Jimmie Johnson should they stay out, but they don't. The top 4 or 5 all in. Carl Edwards, he's a lap down. This hands it back over to Cale Yarbrough. On lap heading into 48. Gap back to Dale Earnhardt is still 4 seconds. Let's check the stops here for some of these lead cars. Oh man, Kyle Busch gets blocked. It's gonna hurt his pit stop. Jimmie Johnson might get out of here first. There's contact with Jimmie Johnson and Logano. Stewart's out. And he'll be out in about 16th, it seems. Got 15th place Dale Jarrett directly in front of him. And now it is just flat out try to make up as many spots as you can. Kenseth still has to stop. He's right behind Cale Yarbrough by 1.5 seconds. Kawicki in the same boat. Let's see what Kenseth does. He makes the run into pit lane. We got Kawicki, Darrell Waltrip, Bill Elliott. So where does this put everyone out? After these stops, you see Truex, Kurt Busch, Earnhardt Jr. All these guys that had an advantage really just gave it up right here. There goes Richard Petty. Take a look at Tony Stewart. See where he blends out with these guys that are pitting. So there will be a lot of spots gained down this front straightaway. Yeah, up to 9th here. Almost jinxed him as he almost makes contact. Kid Schrader, there goes Mark Martin, a lap down. And we actually are bringing out the yellow flag one more time. Debris in turn 1. Huge moment of the race. We will be 11 laps to go, crossing the line here for Cale Yarborough. Carl Edwards will stay on the lead lap by about half a second. Very fortunate for him. So this will bring everybody back together, and we'll probably get restarted with 8 or 9 laps to go. Cale Yarborough, Dale Earnhardt, and Kevin Harvick here in 3rd. Richard Petty still in this race in 4th. Chase Elliott has salvaged an awful day to now run for a top 5. Hamlin here, 6th, Bonnie 7th, Harry Gant, another great run. There's Tony Stewart in 9th. That's a car to watch, and Jimmie Johnson's going to be your top 10. I have no idea if they can make their way back through the field. I don't think there's enough time. They don't have that much fresher tires. We could see some pretty crazy racing here in these closing laps. The advantage is very minimal. Maybe 2 laps if that. Those guys could have maybe stretched it another 3 laps and made a late stop. Here under caution, then they could have had a bit more of an advantage, but probably would have been mired a bit further back. Davey Allison will get the wave around here in a moment. I understand we have Carl Edwards out of gas. Oh, brother. When did he last pit? 33, yeah. Could not make it, but at least we are under yellow. He may not lose a lap. It's like a few cars maybe took to pit lane, if I'm not mistaken. Bobby Albani, Brad Keselowski. Find the 028 here, Davey Allison. He's actually going to get a wave around. was actually passed in the pit lane. Laps remain here under caution in the Stock Car Championship Series. Again, live from Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road course. You can tell here the left and right turns. Coming down the back straightaway, pace car lights are on, and our second caution of the day. Both for debris. Had a few incidents in the first 3 corners. Has been pretty common theme throughout the day. Might see some more of that here on this restart. Taking out a few of our leaders, but last restart was primarily cars in the back, so maybe we will see more of that in this one. But clock is ticking on the remaining laps of this event, and then again we will be back on Wednesday for the 500 miles here at Indianapolis. Go an extra 100. Double points here at Indianapolis on the oval. That will be very exciting. Right now we're looking at another first-time winner in the Stock Car Championship Series. Currently, the top 5 in this race, all without a win on the season. First winner is Denny Hamlin. Then you got Harry Gant, also without a win. Then Tony Stewart, Jimmie Johnson, they've won. David Pearson looking for his first win. So much of the top 10 there gonna be chomping at the bit. May extend this one more lap if Davey Allison can't get around to the lead lap, or to the tail end of the field in time, but it's down the back straightaway, so we should be okay. Dale Sr. pit on lap 44. I put him at 16 laps. This caution should get him to the end, but if anybody's close, it's going to be that 3 car. Then you see as you go further back, 5th, even Denny Hamlin, he pit on lap 48. Bit fresher tires, not too much further behind the leader. And we will get the green flag with 8 laps to go in this race. Davey Allison, Carl Edwards still catching up to the tail end of the field, but they should be in a decent position enough to where get around. It won't be a problem for the rest of the field. I'm not sure they'll catch up in time, but no need to extend another lap just for that. Hardy's 28 Dodge Charger looking to get his first win on the year alongside the number 3 Goodwrench Chevy, also looking for their first win. These guys have had bad luck on the year, including Richard Petty and Kevin Harvick. Harvick not even in the top 30 in points, so the entire top 4 had a tough go of it in the first 7 races of this season. A win here today, even a top 5, is massive. Pace cars off. Cale Yarbrough accelerates. He's got a bit of a gap on Dale Earnhardt Sr. He's gonna look like he's gonna hold off Kevin Harvick. So he has first and second. Get away cleanly. Nice gaps forming the top four, single file. You got Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and Tony Stewart. Out of turns 1 and 2. Get clean so far. Go stop at this camera just to make sure everything. Oh, there's an incident. Kurt Busch goes flying. He's had a good run today. There goes Jeff Burton as well. Davey Allison and Carl Edwards clearing the wreck, and everyone should get back going. Back to the front. There's your leader, Cale Yarbrough, over Dale Earnhardt Sr. He's 7 to go at the line. Does Earnhardt have enough time? Can he make a move and catch back up to the 28? Probably be a little bit lighter on fuel. Could work to his advantage, but the extra 2 laps of tires could be potentially all she wrote. Richard Petty, we know he's got a fast car. We thought early on, next to Kyle Busch, the only other car that had a faster car was this 43. If he can get around Harvick, is there a chance he can track down the top 2? Heavy on the brakes. STP sending it in, trying to close the gap. Gets sideways. Hamlin looks low. Can't make it work because he's on the outside of the next corner. Continues to follow in the tracks of Yarbrough. Hasn't been able to put really a move on the 28 yet. Oh, Earnhardt looked really sideways there. Exiting that last of the S's. It's at a half-second gap now between first and second, but Earnhardt did just make the fastest lap of the race last time by a 1:30.141. They know it's crunch time. Richards just got to set up Harvick here off the exit of this final corner. Get him down under braking into turn 1. Here we go. It's the run he needs. Harvick will probably defend low. Richard Petty has a lot of top end speed and has the ability to get there under braking, perhaps. Not quite. Back up front, about half a second now. Ooh, a pass here. Chase Elliott got by Pearson, or not sure if that was a defensive move. Bad exit there for Petty. He's going to fall off the rear bumper of Harvick. Five laps to go this time by. Lots of damage to Harvick's car. I'm amazed he's running so well. I imagine Richard Petty will have one more shot at Harvick. He's just so much quicker on pace. Dale Sr. running out of time. 5 laps to go. Still under a second for the gap, but the gap is growing. Go back here to third. You see Harvick again going low. Trying to keep Richard Petty to the outside. He does. Richard tried to get there under braking to prevent the block, but just couldn't quite seal the deal. This is effectively going to end any shot at him tracking down the leaders. But he's hoping he can still maybe get third here, and I think he might get him down this back straightaway. Ooh, nice braking by Harvick. Really dove it in deep. Bet he had a great run through the chicane, but just couldn't get alongside enough to get to the outside and the left-hander. Gap up front now 9/10 of a second. Maybe down a little bit from there, like half a second. 4 to go at the line. Harvick doing everything he can to hold on to this third place. He can come away with a podium at Indy. This season is going to take a huge turnaround for him. He is currently running 31st in points, 3 DNFs on the season. His first good finish was just last week. So the momentum certainly in Harvick's favor. Oh, Petty goes wide again. He's pretty cool about the whole thing and doesn't force the issue. Got 4 cars more than 1 lap down. Pretty good job overall with keeping a lot of our leaders on the lead lap, or only 1 lap down. Not many incidents to speak of. Oh, but as I say that, Chase Elliott was out of gas? I don't know. Did we lose Jimmie Johnson? We've lost a few cars on this lap. What is happening? Jimmie Johnson. Did they not fill up enough gas? Unbelievable turn of events here. As we have 3 laps to go, we will revisit that in a moment. Many cars on the lead lap here, suddenly disappearing and seemingly running out of gas on lap 57. I was very much under the impression that everybody was good to go on gas. So that is a huge surprise. Earnhardt's closing in for one more run, apparently, it seems. One last push at the win. I'm interested to see when these leaders might tow back in, or did they blow their engines? We got Logano, Kyle Busch. It was right as I was saying how many cars we had more than a lap down. It was crazy time. Chase Elliott, Bobby Allison, Joey Logano, and Jimmie Johnson. Oh my. So where's Kyle Busch here? Okay, Kyle Busch is still in 8th. We're going to have to go back and just see what happened after this race is over. But up here, 2 laps to go is all we got. The gap remains just over half a second. Not enough for Dale Sr. to make a move. Even if he sent it without brakes, I don't even think he'd get alongside Yarborough. He's that far back, but he is the fastest lap of the race and will get a bonus point for that. I can't imagine anyone going quicker here. I think we got some of our cars that had an incident now re-entering the track on the front straightaway. And here's Richard Petty. He's by with 2 laps to go. Finally got it to work. Into third. Heartbreak for Kevin Harvick, you know, just thinking he finally had a podium, but a top 5 is still a good finish for that team. They just have to remember that. But here we are. We're coming up on the white flag. Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road course. Cale Yarborough has a 1.2 second gap over Dale Earnhardt. 7+ back to Richard Petty. Rounding the most difficult corner of the day. Long right-hander caught many cars out. The difference remains about a second to the Intimidator. Chase Elliott, 35th. Logano, 34th. They're out ahead. So, pretty devastating turn of events for those cars. Very interested to see what went wrong for all of them. I mean, was there a crash even? But around the final few corners, got 3 more to go for Cale Yarborough. He's going to seal the deal on his first win of the season. 9th in points should catapult him potentially up to 4th. We may even see higher than that, due to how Logano and Jimmie Johnson finished. Here we go, off the final corner. Cale Yarborough is going to win here in the Stock Car Championship Series, his first win at Indy. Dale Earnhardt coming home second, incredible run. And Richard Petty crossing the line, and third. Kevin Harvick fourth. Denny Hamlin fifth. That's your top 5. We'll go over the entire finishing results in a moment. But let's hang out with our leader here as he rounds on his cool-down lap. Cale Yarborough, what a win. Gets it done here. Like we mentioned, Cale Yarborough was 15 points out of 4th in the standings, so not only will it leap him probably over each of those cars, Logano and Jimmie Johnson having such terrible days, he won't pass Jimmie. He could potentially even be 2nd in points now from 9th. And we have double points race coming up on Wednesday, so just to shake it up a bit more, stay with us, subscribe, follow. Check out our race here this coming Wednesday. Be here at Indy, 500 miles, double points, the first leg of our 4 races in the Twin Checker Challenge. We're running the oval and see who can come out on top. What a race. Let's take a look here. Cale Yarborough started 8th, finishes 1st. Earnhardt started 10th, finished 2nd. Harvick 20th up to 4th. 16 spots gained. Great job. Ernie Irvin 39th to 13th. I don't know if he'll get better than that. That's 26 positions. Ernie Irvin, your mover, hard charger of the day. And bad luck of the day, I think, belongs to Joey Logano, Jimmie Johnson. You could add Bobby Allison to that mix. These guys had incredible runs going, and something happened here. Okay, so here they are. Bobby Allison outside Chase Elliott. They're going to make contact. And hit again and again. Bobby Allison, Chase Elliott go off track. Now here is Jimmie and Logano, the very next corner. They go off. Joey can't get it corrected, and he tried to take the access road. Unbelievable. 4 cars in 2 turns. Wow. What a finish to this one. So Kyle Petty, Earnhardt Jr., Clint Boyer, Ken Schrader, Greg Biffle all finished more than 1 lap down. I don't know that Kyle Petty had a lot of incidents, but just didn't have a good day. Everybody finished, though. Mark Martin still making his way around on his cool-down lap. But again, your winner, Cale Yarborough today. Big win for Hardy's 28. Let's see the team standings. They are 3rd in the standings. With Bobby Allison's issue, though, could hurt them a little bit. Be interesting to see how these points all shake out after we get everything squared away. A lot of issues arose there in the final 5 laps, I should say. But unfortunately, we aren't able to go back and check out our cautions in today's race, but you do know we looked at what we could, and we'll get the updated points for our next race at Indianapolis. Again, we'll be back on Wednesday. And until then, have a great rest of your weekend. We will see you then.